I'm Josh Larky. This is the Dominator. Welcome in, everyone. Today I'm going to be going over 13 players that you might want to be a little bit wary of in your home league drafts coming up. Now, what I'm going to be doing is using Underdog Fantasy ADP and comparing that to some home league ADPs that you're probably going to see just looking at some of the main sites like Yahoo, ESPN, Sleeper ADPs. We're going to be looking for some players we might want to avoid. Now, it is worth noting that underdog drafts are often wide receiver heavy early on. Even still, the players mentioned here, they're just going much, much earlier. The 2024 home league draft type environments that we should expect are going to be significantly less sharp, I would imagine, than underdog fantasy ADP. And that's why we're doing this show. And I hate to report there's going to be a couple players, one running back in particular, that I like. I've generally liked them, but that is on underdog. Come home league drafts, there's one running back I have yet to take a single time simply because the underdog market's letting me know he just doesn't quite look like other running backs going in a similar range to him in those home league drafts. Now let's get right down to it. This will be another quick episode. I'm still recovering from back surgery. I'll have a few more weeks of this. It happened about a week and a half ago. I'm really not allowed to sit for very long. I can walk around for a while. I've been walking a few miles a day now. Walking is apparently the best thing I can do for my back. Laying down, great. I can do a lot of laying down. I've been working from home and I've been laying down for most of the workday. Honestly, kind of sucks. Anyway, sitting is the one activity I can only do sparingly throughout the day. You're welcome. You're welcome. I'm using it on podcasting. Let's get right to the quarterback position. Josh Allen. Now, on Underdog, his ADP is 37. He's the quarterback one off the board. But he's the ADP 37. We've got Jalen Hurts at 41, Patrick Mahomes at 44, Lamar Jackson 47. So they're all within a round or less of Josh Allen. Now, rather than going early round 4 like he does an Underdog, he's a late round 2, sometimes middle round 2, or early round 3 pick elsewhere in the home league environments. Allen's often going at least a full round before any other quarterback, if not multiple rounds before. I did a home league type draft about 4 days ago, and I got Jalen Hurts a full 2 rounds after Josh Allen. Josh Allen, just a tough player to pull the trigger on in these home leagues. Another quarterback would be Joe Burrow that I just am struggling to draft. His underdog ADP is 89. That's the quarterback 8 off the board. So he's kind of going in that 7th, 8th round, generally 8th round on underdog, but he goes in the 5th or 6th round elsewhere in home leagues as the quarterback 7. So he goes up a spot or 2 generally in terms of his ADP, in terms of positionally at quarterback, he's getting raised, and he's going about 2 full rounds earlier. There's just no way I'm going to be taking Joe Burrow before a quarterback who goes much later, like Kyler Murray in home leagues. Another quarterback, similar vein to Joe Burrow. It's a pure pocket passer. This one's Dak Prescott. His underdog ADP is 97. At pick 97, he's the quarterback 10. So he's kind of this round 8, round 9 pick. He's a round 6 or round 7 pick in home leagues. Rather than quarterback 10, he's often going at quarterback 8, often ahead of Kyler Murray as well. At least with Joe Burrow, you have Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. With Dak Prescott, it's really just CeeDee Lamb. The supporting cast is, on paper, it's just not great. It's pretty thin. For Dak Prescott, the offensive line should be worse than it has been in prior years anyway. And he's unlikely to lead the NFL in passing touchdowns again. Regression should hit Dak Prescott. That's simply how regression works. It is tough to lead the NFL in passing touchdowns back-to-back seasons. Many unsustainable metrics in terms of his red zone touchdown passing efficiency from last year. And we've got one more unsustainable quarterback, and that is Brock Purdy. His underdog ADP, it's generally round 9, quarterback 13. Now, in home leagues, he's generally going round 7 or round 8 as the quarterback 11 off the board. Brock Purdy is a fantasy QB1 in your home leagues. And, I mean, what's the upside if you're trotting out Brock Purdy each week? Wouldn't you rather wait for Jaden Daniels, for Caleb Williams, other rookies? I mean, if you really want the quote-unquote Brock Purdy archetype, some of the guys that might go later would be Tua Tagovailoa, Jared Goff. There's simply Matthew Stafford. There's just a lot of these pocket passer types. Brock Purdy's passing touchdown rate has been incredibly high in his season and a half in the NFL, and it's unlikely to continue. Maybe it does, and even if it does, great. He was giving you about 18 fantasy points per game last year when he was in the MVP conversation due to by far the highest passing touchdown rate in the NFL. So even when he's leading the NFL in passing touchdown rate, he's still about 5-6 fantasy points behind the elite fantasy quarterbacks. He's simply not making a difference for you. Let's turn to running back. Kyren Williams. Now his ADP is 27 on Underdog. That's the running back 8. So he's kind of an early round 3 pick. Yet he goes early round 2 in home leagues as the running back 7. So a slight boost in terms of running back positional number, a massive rise early 3rd to early 2nd round pick is a huge difference. There's just some questions about what his workload will look like this year. The team drafted Blake Corum in the 3rd round. Kyren Williams himself got injured. He had the ankle sprain last year, maybe as a result of just you have to be careful giving 200-pound running backs without awesome speed a crazy amount of carries. And Christian McCaffrey was the only other running back who had a workload similar to Kyren Williams last year. This is the one that pains me. I have drafted a decent amount of Travis Etienne at his ADP of 41. So the middle of round 4, running back 11 on Underdog Fantasy. We love that. We love Travis Etienne, but he's usually a round 2 pick elsewhere as not the running back 11, but the running back 8, running back 9 in home leagues. That is simply a bit rich. If Underdog drafters are letting me know that Travis Etienne looks quite different from a Saquon Barkley, from a other running backs that are going, kind of like a Jonathan Taylor, if Underdog drafters are letting me know that they look different, and then he goes within 1, 2, 3 picks of those guys in home leagues, then unfortunately, I'm not going to have much, if any, Travis Etienne in these environments. I mean, I was kind of fading him on Underdog as the running back 20. I'm also going to fade him in home leagues. Aaron Jones, his ADP is 80 on Underdog. That's late round 7. He's usually a round 5 or round 6 pick in home leagues, the running back 18, the running back 19. So again, just a bad, stinky offense. He's got Sam Darnold as his quarterback. Aaron Jones himself is nearly 30 years old. Just a good player to generally be underweight on, especially in home leagues. And then Nick Chubb. His Underdog ADP is 128. He's the running back 41. That's round 11. Then in home leagues, he's going round 9, sometimes round 8, often in the running back 28 to 33 range. He's probably not playing for at least the first 6 to 8 weeks of the fantasy season, the NFL season. He may never get the full workload back. This is a 29-year-old running back coming off a second catastrophic injury to the same knee. The team's going to be very, very conservative with him, according to beat reporters. I'm struggling to see how a non-pass catching running back in an offense that we're not super excited about is going to be breaking fantasy when he was getting there in the past on historic efficiency, and now he's coming off of an injury, kind of like what Javonte Williams was coming back from last year. We struggle to see these running backs return to their prior season's efficiency coming off of an injury like this.
This episode is made possible by Underdog Fantasy, and Underdog Fantasy is the leader in best ball. When you go to join an Underdog Fantasy best ball draft, it fills very quickly, especially now. It's Best Ball Mania season, baby! Best Ball Mania 5! I can't believe they're at Best Ball Mania 5 already. $15 million in prizes. They're giving out $15 million with $1.5 million to first. Playing in best ball leagues makes you better. It helps train you on player value and strategy. And Underdog offers a lot more than just best ball contests. They offer pick'ems. My new favorite, the golf pick'ems, baseball pick'ems going on throughout the off season. Hit the pick'ems, back to best ball, hit the pick'ems. So use promo code Underworld. Promo code Underworld gets you a 50% deposit bonus up to $250. So they've increased the maximum deposit bonus. It was $100. Now it's up to $125. When you get the Underdog app, use promo code Underworld and go draft your ass off.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Josh Larky. This is the Dominator. We're going over 13 players that you're probably going to want to fade in your home leagues when looking at Underdog Fantasy ADP. Another guy here, we're looking at Devontae Adams. So his Underdog ADP is pick 22 as the wide receiver 15. So that's late round 2. And you might be like, Josh, he goes the middle of round 2 in home leagues. Why would you not like that? That's only a couple picks different. So yeah, it's a couple picks different. But really what we're looking at is that Devontae Adams in home leagues is usually the wide receiver 10 or 11 off the board. Remember, Remember, Underdog is wide receiver heavy. So if he's the wide receiver 15 on Underdog, but the wide receiver 10 in home leagues, he's going ahead of several other key receivers that he probably shouldn't be. What is he, 31, 32 years old? He's going to have Gardner Minshew at quarterback. He's got Brock Bowers, Jacoby Myers as target competition. It's a pretty good defense. They're probably going to play slowly. And Zamir White or whoever else is back there might be getting a lot of touches. It's a kind of a boomer offense in terms of what head coach Antonio Pierce seems to want to be doing. And another aging receiver is Mike Evans. His Underdog ADP is wide receiver 18, early round 3. He also goes early round 3 in your home leagues, but just like Devontae Adams, that because Underdog's wide receiver heavy, we have to adjust for that. Wide receiver 18 on Underdog, the wide receiver 13, 14 range in your home leagues. Be careful of the aging Mike Evans with Baker Mayfield. Another one, Michael Pittman, Underdog, wide receiver 25 with his ADP. Home leagues love the guy. He's going wide receiver 18 to wide receiver 20. Anthony Richardson is a bad passer. He has never been a good passer. In college, he was a shaky passer in a limited sample size last year before getting injured. In the preseason, he looked a little bit shaky so far. I think people might be a little bit disappointed with Michael Pittman because you generally need receiving touchdowns and receiving yardage. Those could both be pretty hard to come by in a Colts offense that's likely featuring a lot of Jonathan Taylor and Anthony Richardson at the goal line. Turning to the tight end position, I've talked before about my fade on Sam Laporta. We'll just continue that. So I already didn't love that he was an early round 4 pick, ADP 37 on Underdog. He's a late round 2 pick in home leagues, most likely. This is crazy. Sam Laporta, late round 2 pick. He just simply does not give you a positional advantage. He got there last year because of touchdowns. He was the 5th best target owner at the tight end position last year. He was 4th or 5th in receptions, receiving yards. He's very good. It's hard to see his role expanding when the team also has Amon-Ra St. Brown, when the team also has Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery in the backfield, and the team generally ran really, really pure last year on touchdowns. They're likely going to kick more field goals this upcoming season than last season. Let's hit fade 13. Just one last reminder. I'm Josh Larky. This is the Dominator. Follow me on Twitter at JLarkyTweets. I'm recording this today, Friday, August 16th. I'll be dropping my fantasy football cheat sheet on my Twitter later today at JLarkyTweets. Stay tuned for that. Last fade, Travis Kelce. Just like Sam Laporta, we don't see, I'm struggling to see the positional advantage here. So he's a round 4 pick, ADP 39 on Underdog. He's a middle of round 3 pick most other places. With Travis Kelce, the big issue is that he was a pretty diminished version of himself last year. And the team added both Xavier Worthy and Marquise Hollywood Brown to the roster. Rashee Rice looks like if he's suspended, it's only a few games, and it might not happen till the 2025 season. Essentially, you have a Travis Kelce turning 35 years old in October, competing with 3 really good young wide receivers. And I just struggle to see how he's going to make an impact for you down the stretch. Also, when we think about real football, because Kelce's getting up there in age and they know they want to use him heavily in the playoffs like they did last year, you can see that his usage ticked down the final month of last season. And that coincided with the fantasy playoffs. He had weak stat lines. He wasn't getting targeted very much. And then he exploded in the NFL playoffs. This is an older tight end. They're careful with his workload. And I simply am not going to have much, if any, Travis Kelce in home league environments. Folks, thank you for listening. That's 13 players. We did that in just over 13 minutes flat. I will take it. I hope you crush your home league drafts this upcoming weekend and next weekend. Remember, I've got the fantasy cheat sheet at JLarkyTweets on Twitter. Make sure that you are checking out everything Player Profiler. Make sure that you're checking out the Fast Draft app as well. Make sure, of course, that you are depositing on Underdog Fantasy. The Puppy 3 just dropped. It's $5. They have 20-second clocks for that. I think I've already done 10, 15 of those. I will be ripping a few more of those later tonight as well. Thank you, everyone.
Hey, I want to thank you for being part of this broadcast. If you have any thoughts on it, leave a comment. If you enjoyed it, make sure you leave a like. And if you want to see more shows on the Player Profiler channel, subscribe to it. That's how we know you want more.